We were in Rome filming a musical called The Man of La Mancha when our peace was shattered by the appearance of O'Toole and 3 of his minders. Quite frankly, Peter was pissed out of his mind, breaking glasses, pouring wine over the table, and threatening everyone within sight. "I'm leaving, Peter," I said, standing up. "You're bloody well going nowhere!" O'Toole screamed at the top of his voice, at the same time instructing his 3 tough guys to bar my way. One of them was called Fausto and had once fought for the light heavyweight boxing championship in Italy. There was a short standoff while his 3 minders glared at me. "Peter," I said quietly, "I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll flatten these silly buggers, and then I'll kick your teeth down your throat." After another pause, he waved his hand, and his torpedoes finally moved out of my way, and I left. Our host was a charming old lord who was justly proud of his home, which was full of antiques. Cast and crew were dancing happily to the sound of the bagpipes and the drums, and the great doors were flung open, and there stood the terror of the universe, O'Toole. As Shakespeare so brilliantly put it, "Cry havoc, and let slip the dogs of war!" The dogs in question were his wild minders, who were as drunk as he was. To everyone's astonishment, O'Toole grabbed one of the bagpipes and commenced playing them brilliantly. There was no end to his talents. After huge applause, he bowed and threw the pipes straight through a glass window. It was a signal for mayhem. Carpets, chairs, tables were flung all over the place. Tapestries were torn off the walls, and paintings too. J. Lee Thompson, the producer of the film, with the distraught owner of the house by their side, begged me to do something. As more furniture crashed to the floor, I stepped forward to confront Peter. "Stop this, O'Toole!" I roared. Peter turned and glared at me. He was virtually unrecognizable, his eyes wide and bloodshot. "Listen to me. Listen to me. Stop this now. Do you hear me, Peter?" I begged. He raised his leg to knee me and froze like a statue on the spot. "You try and knee me, Peter," I continued, "and I promise you that you won't be able to walk for months. You can kiss your acting career goodbye." "You're a miserable fucker, blessed," he rasped and walked out of the house. When I arrived on the set, Peter grabbed me and gleefully told me that he'd spent the night in police cells after a wild fight in a pub. To make matters worse, he tried to wrestle me. You see, he wanted to find out if I could still beat him physically. Within seconds of him lunging at me, I had him on his back on the floor, holding him down with a vice-like grip. "You've got no face, you've got no voice, and you have about as much presence as a vole's cock." "Hello, Brian. It's me, O'Toole." "What do you want, Peter?" I'm afraid I was in no mood for him at the time. I'd seen yet more examples of him pissing on his talent in the Sunday papers, and it had left me vexed. "I'm doing Macbeth. I want you to come over, Brian. I want you to come over. I'm shaking with excitement, love. I'm doing Macbeth, and I want you to be Banquo." "Honestly, Peter," I said, "I don't want to work with you. I don't want to work with someone who behaves like you behave. In fact, I'll tell you what. I'll come over to Hampstead now, and I'll tell you exactly why I never want to work with a twat like you ever again." So I went over to Hampstead and was met by Peter at the door. "Come in, oh love. Come in. It's so wonderful to see you, Brian." I had feared that seeing him in person might have softened my mood somewhat. But if anything, it made me even angrier. I got him in the front room of his house, and I said, "I have come here, Peter, because I'm ashamed of you as an artist. Do you hear me? I'm ashamed of you. Actors work all their lives. They work on their body, they work on their voice, they work on their studies and examine everything, and they haven't got a fraction of your talent. You have a God-given talent, a talent that has come from the edge of nowhere, yet all you do is piss on it. You shit on your fellow actors and you shit on your gifts. While I was saying all this, I dragged him all over the room. I dragged him by his jacket, and I dragged him by his shirt. I dragged him all over his house. I bounced him off the bloody walls. You're a shit, O'Toole. You're a good-for-nothing shit. That's what I come to tell you. And all the time he was weeping. He was crying his eyes out. Brian, I love you. I love you. You're the only person who makes any sense. Please play Banquo. I must walk on that stage with you by my side. It made no mark on me, though. I continued to drag him round by his shirt before eventually throwing him over a sofa. So you now know why I won't work with you, Peter, because you have shat on your fucking talent. And with that, I left him. Well, in about 2009, I was walking down Wardour Street in Soho after doing a voiceover when I suddenly realised I was being sworn at. Blessed! You big, rough bastard! Over here! I looked up, and there, standing right in the middle of the road, was O'Toole, arms in the air, looking as though he'd been dragged through a hedge backwards. Look at you, you big, lovely fucker, he shouted. Come here! Come! And give me a hug. Where on earth are you going to, Pete? I asked him. I'm off to the Groucho Club, love. Off to pick up some award or something. Come here, you big, marvellous bugger. Look at me. I'm fucked. And look at fucking you. You look wonderful. You bastard. I'm going to knock you out. He threw a gentle punch, and then I grabbed him, lifted him into the air, slowly lowered him onto the pavement, and I pinned him. You big, rough bugger. What you go and do that for? The taxi drivers and tourists passing by didn't know what to think. Submit? Of course, I fucking submit. I can't move. With that, I picked him up, dusted him off, gave him a big hug and a huge kiss, and away he went to the Groucho Club. Before he turned the corner onto Old Compton Street, he looked back and gestured as if to say, I'll call you. He never did, nor I him. And that's the last time we ever saw each other. It had been just like the old days, profane, confrontational, and fun. I miss him dreadfully. With his death, a great light has gone out on this planet. We shall never see his light again.